TFA fam, good morning. What is up? Hope your week is off to a good start here for the next hour with all of you answering all of your start sit questions you guys have already loaded up in the chat. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. Real quick, though, I did just want to, I did not look at this before, but I just want to see if there was any weather we need to be worried about. It looks like Buffalo, Seattle could be a little gross. Says here, periodic bands of heavy rain will push through the area, meaning at times in this game, it will likely rain fairly hard. At times, it'll be dry. Winds also pick up as the bands move through, sustained 10 to 15, gusts over 25. Timing the rain bands will be nearly impossible until just before kickoff. So that's the latest. That seems like the only one we have to worry about. But let's go ahead and dive into these questions. Had our guy ET in here bright and early. Good morning, TFA fam. Two non-PPR questions. With Debo suiting up, should I start him over Pearsall? Yes. And who should I start between Monty or Bigsby with ETN out? So yeah, we're definitely going Debo over Pearsall. And what do we got? So we have Bigsby there. I want to check something real quick with the. I can't remember if anyone on the Titans, because the Titans' run defense has been good, but I'm not sure. I think maybe they were going to be without Tier Tart. Maybe let me double check this. Apologies for this, all this dead air. I just want to make sure what the Titans' defense is looking like. They not have? Boy, am I dumb. All right, never mind. Forget me for saying that. Sweat. That's the one I was thinking about, not Tart. I was thinking about Sweat. Man, this is tough. I think I would go Monty. I think he has the better chance of finding the end zone. If this was a better matchup for the Jags, I would go Bigsby because obviously he's going to be the one that sees the touches here, right? Um, but the thing you worry about is Green Bay jumping out to a lead, and then Bigsby he's going to get game scripted out. They're going to bring in Dearness Johnson as the pass catching back. So I'm going to go Monty there. The real deal, Michael Gill, half PPR pick 3, Monty, Dobbins, Hunt, Mason, Cook. 2, 3, 4. So we're going to go, man, what a problem to have. Mason, Dobbins, golly. Actually, I'm going to go Hunt, Mason, and Cook. Man, that's tough. Yeah, Hunt, Mason, and Cook is where I'm going to go there. And then one between Pickens, Wilson, and Waddle, I'm going to go Waddle. I'm going to go Waddle there. It really come down to Waddle and Pickens. Pickens feels so chasey, but I really like this matchup. Tua coming back. Cardinals pass defense, not good. So I'm going to lean Waddle. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything with injuries. Tyreek definitely playing. Half PPR pick 2, BTJ, Wilson, McLaurin. So it sounds like Jaden Daniels is going to go. Man. But the Bears, I know the Bears had some injury questions coming in as well. Let me check that injury report real quick. Saw Jaquan Brisker has been out for like 3 weeks with a concussion, which does not seem good. Also going to be without Kyler Gordon. I think Gordon is maybe their. Let me double check this. I think Gordon has mostly been their slot corner, so I don't think that will affect um, McLaurin that much. But let me double check because if he has been playing on the outside, that would obviously be good news for McLaurin. Oh, here we go. Slot coverage. Let's go by team. Yeah, Gordon has been their slot guy. 116 coverage snaps in the slot. By far their most. The next closest is Josh Blackwell with 29. So he must be the backup. Man, this is rough when you're going solo and trying to look up other things you might be interested in. So I'm going to sit Wilson there. I'm going to go McLaurin and BTJ, and then we need two between JT, Mason, and Dobbins. And on that one, I'm going to sit Dobbins. Another one from Mr. Gale. Half PPR, we need two between White, Irving, Chubb, and Ramondre. Man, the Jets' run defense has not been great. But I feel like they probably get game scripted out of that one pretty quick. I'm gonna go Rashad White. Even though it's only half PPR, I think they're gonna have to involve him more in the passing game with all of the injuries they have. So we're gonna go Rashad White. And Ramondre. Rashad White and Ramondre for that one. Then we need one between Pickens, Dell, McMillan, and Lockett. And I'm going to go Pickens on that one. Pick one, White, Chubb, Dowdle, Tracy. We're going to go Rashad White on that one. Reed or Lockett, we're going Reed. Really nice bounce back spot for Jaden Reed in that one. So I like him there. Baker or Bo Nix. God. Oh boy. I know everyone loves Bo Nix this week because they're going up against Panthers. It's hard not to love that. My issue is, what is he gonna have to do? Right? Like that's my issue with Bo Nix this week is like, is he really gonna have to do anything to get you fantasy points? Um, kind of feels like he's gonna have to rush for 70 yards and find the end zone, which he obviously could do. Alex, I think this one is like, if you need to swing for the fences, I would go Baker because they're going to be in a pass heavy script, I believe, here. Obviously, you don't feel great about his weapons, but Baker's been playing really well this year. So I still think he could, sneak into like an 18-point type of fantasy day. But like, if you just want to play it safe, I would go Bo Nix. I just don't know what his ceiling is, to be quite honest, in a game where they're not going to be pushed. That's my biggest thing with Nix this week. So that's how I would play it. Go Nix for safety and go Baker for like the boom bust play. Like, I think Bo Nix has a safer floor here, but Baker to me has the higher ceiling. Truth teller. Game day, yes. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you. Truth, and you start one quarterback, two wide receivers, one super flex, one running back. So I'm assuming this is all for the same lineup. So let's get the easy one out of the way. At running back, we're gonna go Jacobs. Two wide receivers. Oh boy. So you're gonna I don't want to double down with Jets. Is that supposed to be Adams twice? Truth, if you're still rocking with us, let me know if that's supposed to be. Let me know if that's supposed to be Adams listed there twice. Assuming you didn't make a mistake, I'm going to keep my eyes here at the bottom of the chat just in case you chime in. Assuming you didn't make a mistake, I would go Adams and JSN. Just like I said, I don't want to double up on Jets. So those would be the two wide receivers. And then I'm going to go Gino and Dak at your quarterback and superflex spots. But let me know if Adams was not supposed to be in there and it's supposed to be somebody else. KD coming through with the first defense question of the week. We have San Fran or the Chargers. Let me pull up the old rankings here. I'm gonna go Chargers here. Just want to make sure I had the matchups right. I'm gonna go Chargers. Dowdle or Bigsby, if no TTN, if no ETN. So I just want to make sure that Truth did not chime back in yet. Dowdle or Bigsby, if no ETN. So ETN's not going to play. Seems super doubtful, so I would not expect him. And with the reports coming out, even if he does suit up, I think it's going to be more of like an emergency type situation. It worries me that they elevated Dalvin Cook for this because it should be Dalvin taking over the spot for Zeke, right? But Jerry just scares the absolute shit out of me. And I feel like that could end up being Dalvin taken out. Golly, man. I'd probably just go Bigsby here. So ETN has been officially ruled out. Probably just go Bigsby here because it's a little clearer, and you just pray and hope that Green Bay doesn't jump out to like a quick 10-0, 14-0 lead. As long as they can keep it like within striking distance, Bigsby should continue to get carries. So that's how I would go there. Jay Howley, appreciate you coming through with the super chat. Flex one in a PPR, Najee, B-Rob, McLaurin, or Bigsby. Man. Let me see. Giants, middle of the road. This is a tough one. I think in a PPR, I'm going to go McLaurin here, assuming that we get Daniels playing, and it seems like he is going to go, which I wouldn't do if I were the Commanders, because if he ends up getting if his ribs end up getting busted, if it gets worse, you're putting your team in a bad spot here. So with like all these running backs are kind of like middle of the road for me. The Bears have been pretty good against the run. Giants have surprisingly been pretty good against the run. I would go McLaurin here in a full PPR. Appreciate you coming through with that super chat, JH. Tyler coming through with a super chat as well. Yeah, Hallie, I agree. I think I would just swing and go with McLaurin because I could also see a scenario where we start to get oh my god, Jalen Warren more involved as well. Bigsby or Dell? I'm going to go Dell there, Tyler. Appreciate you coming with the super chat as well. Appreciate all you for rocking with us. If you're new to the channel or just haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please go ahead and do so now. Closing in on 6,200 subs, I believe. So getting inching closer and closer. Appreciate all you for rocking with us and showing support. Hit us with a like as well. KD, Sutton, Mooney, Allen in the flex. I'm gonna go Mooney here in the flex. AP. Should I start Zay, Dobbs, Lockett, Ridley, or Keenan this week? We need one in a full PPR. I'm gonna go Zay on this one. I know it's intriguing to go with Lockett. With DK being out, obviously, intriguing to go with Ridley, with D Hop being sent away. I would have him. Don't know where that came from. I would have him ranked in this order, I believe, with Zay at the top. It would be between Zay and Dobbs for me. Thing that would worry you with Zay is, they get out to a big lead and he just doesn't have to be involved. So if you need to have if you need to swing a little bit more, I'd probably go Dobbs with the involvement that he has seen recently. But I have Zay ranked ahead of him. I do think that Winston could keep this close with the injuries. So the Ravens pass defense obviously has not been good in general all year. And now they're going to be without Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey, it looks like. So if we get DGAF Winston in this matchup, could be really interesting for this game. And hopefully that keeps Zay Flowers on the field. Garvey, Worthy or Tillman in a full PPR. I get, obviously I was just talking about this matchup. I think I would still go Worthy here. And just pray that they start to, I think he did have 8 targets last week. Obviously, that didn't end up resulting in a ton for fantasy purposes. But I would go Worthy here. It just feels a little chasey with Tillman. Who knows if this ends up being, this could end up being like a Judy getting targeted a bunch with just going downfield. Elijah Moore getting targeted. Obviously, Njoku is going to be I think he's going to end up leading like he did last week. I would go Worthy here because I also don't know how involved that D Hop is going to be in this first week. So I would go Xavier Worthy. I get wanting to get Tillman in though. Javonte or Rashad and a half PPR. We are definitely going Javonte there. Really love the matchup for him. Like I said, that's kind of what is keeping me off of Bo Nix a little bit this week. I think they just end up running it, and we see something similar to the script that we saw with the Broncos against the Saints last week. BTJ or Pickens in a half PPR. What do we got here for Vegas on this one? Wow, that's been bet up 2.5 points. So we have the Jags is 3-point home dogs, 48.5 point total. Oh, 36.5. 36.5 for the Steelers Giants. And that spread. Oh, okay, never mind. I was reading that wrong. Now they are 6-point favorites. Open up at -4. It's been moved to -6. I think Pickens is safer. So if you need just solid involvement, I would go Pickens. Obviously, we saw him targeted heavily in that game. But if you need to take a little bit more of a swing, I would go with BTJ. BTJ has quietly been really good this year. Like I don't think he's been getting enough flowers, honestly, with how well he has played on that team. Hopefully we get hopefully we get Christian Kirk traded away and let him go to a better team that's going to actually utilize him well. Kincaid or Kraft and a half PPR. God, this should be a slam dunk for Kincaid, and I think that's where I would go with Dawson Knox out for this one. Already had that one. JT Mason or Tank, one here for Ashton. It's not Tank for me. Really comes down to JT or Mason. Micah Parsons going to be out for this one. Niners 5-point favorites. I think I'm going to go Mason on this one. And just pray that JT doesn't go for like $1.20 and 2. I'm going to go Mason. Simp. Gino or Tua, we're going Tua there. Pickens or BTJ, obviously just had that one. So if you were listening, going Pickens for the floor, BTJ for the ceiling. In a vacuum, I lean Brian Thomas. So without knowing anything, I would lean Brian Thomas. Just feels so chasey with Pickens. But he had such great involvement last week. Fant or Hill for Yvette, this is going to be a similar situation. So if you need to swing, and I'm assuming this is Taysom Hill. If you need to swing for the fences, I would go Taysom Hill here. Spencer Rattler hasn't done a lot to inspire a lot of confidence. So I think this could be a situation that as long as they feel comfortable with Hill's injuries, that, we see him lined up everywhere. Running back, quarterback, tight end, receiver. So if you need to swing, I would go with Hill. If you need safety, I would go with Fant. Need one here for Ashton. Terry Dobbs, Waddle, JSN, Wicks. Man, it's between Terry and Waddle for me. And just based on I'm going to go Waddle just because there's fewer questions. If Daniels does play, with the way that he runs and doesn't slide and just gets lit up, that could be a situation where he's in there for 5 snaps, gets popped, and then he goes on the bench, right? Chicago's pass defense, really good. So I'm gonna take the swing with Waddle on that one. Pretty nice luxury to have there with all those different options, especially if we're just picking one. Bigsby or White in a full PPR. Full PPR, we're going to go Rachaad White here. Like I said, I think they're going to have to involve him more as a pass catcher for the Bucs. Karn, so you wouldn't go ETN and Tank for CMC? No, I wouldn't, man, because like I said, ETN hasn't been playing well. Now he's banged up with a hammy. Tank Dell is, you only feel good about plugging him in when they're in plus matchups. Once the Jags get behind, he's coming off the field, whether that's going to be for ETN or for Dearness Johnson. So this isn't a situation where like Tank is the guy all the time getting all the run. And it's not the same with ETN. With as well as Tank has played, I think, with ETN, always being banged up and having some issues with staying on the field, it's going to be hard to trust him going ahead. So to me, that's not enough for CMC. And then the other one here, Wilson and Mason for London, Madison. I don't want to get rid of London. Obviously, Garrett Wilson played well in that game against the Steelers. It was him who was the one that was fantasy relevant over Devontae Adams. Adams still had 9 targets. So to me, this is, and then if we're looking at like the range of outcomes, if CMC ends up getting back and he is CMC, Mason's worthless, right? So this is kind of like Madison. I know he's popped off a couple times, but that's not I wouldn't feel great about plugging him into my lineups anyway. So to me, this is kind of Garrett Wilson for London, and I want London rest of the season. So I would try to figure something else out, like we were talking about, or I would just hold. Boss man, who to start? Pick 2 from this list: DJ Moore, McLaurin, D Hop, Debo, and Smitty. We are definitely going Debo. Man. We're going to go Debo and Smitty. Love this matchup for the Eagles. DJ Moore is really intriguing as well. The Commanders have given it up through the air. The one thing that worries me here is that the Commanders can get after the quarterback and they can get pressure. And that is where Caleb Williams has really struggled over. I was going to say over, since he's been starting as a rookie, right? That's what has really gotten him into trouble. So I would just go Smitty here. I think this one's going to end up being a back and forth affair, and I think AJ Brown and Smitty are going to pop off in this one. Raylan, doing well. Hope you're doing well. Have PPR in the flex, Bigsby, Waddle, or Reed. We are going Jaden Reed on that one. Tua or Dak? This is interesting. Man. Dak has been so disappointing. Man. I'm going to go Tua on this one, just based on the matchup. CMC looks iffy rest of the season just because they could be down 3-5, possibly 3-7 when he's healthy, not playing for the playoffs at that point. It's possible. But to me, you're not getting the return you should. But hey, at the end of the day, it's your team, man. So if you're more worried about CMC and you feel like that's the best you can get, and you're trying to make that push, then I guess it's all right. But like I said, I'd be looking elsewhere. I'm not just that Jags situation. I think is going to be a headache once ETN is healthy. Chip, I threw Grandpa Chip's war medals off the bridge. Start 1.5 PPR on the flex. Neighbors, Reed, Connor, BTJ. We're going Jaden Reed there. Really like this spot for Reed to bounce back if you've not been able to tell. Did I miss? I did. I see this now, Ashton. Achan or Mason in a PPR. I'm gonna go. Man, I wanted to say Achan really quickly on that one, but I'm gonna go Mason here. I think a lot of people are forgetting about Raheem Mostert just being a thorn in the side, and he's going to get involved. And we have to remember last year we're talking about Raheem Mostert hit 20 touchdowns. So Obviously Achan is a threat to rip off a 60-yarder of his own at any point, but I'm gonna go Mason on that one and just pray that Achan doesn't absolutely go off. Ashley come through the super chat. Appreciate you, my guy. Fergie or Kraft in a tight end premium. We're gonna go Fergie on that one. I think he has the higher target ceiling than Kraft does. Daniels or Knicks. I'm gonna go Jaden there. Because I'm struggling with Knicks' ceiling. Having said it so much, I'm sure a 25-point day is coming in. Daniel's obviously a little more risky there, but I would lean him over Knicks. First kicker question. Really wish Kev was here, but he's not. So guess I have to be the one to answer this one. Lutz or Seibert? I'm gonna go Lutz on that one, especially without knowing what's going on with Washington. Killer Quicks, DK and Higgins out. It's rough. Need two worthy Pearsall, Yoshi, McConkey, or I could start Moss over one of them in the flex. I would not do that with Moss. Philly's run defense has gotten a lot better over the past couple weeks, and obviously Chase Brown has kind of taken over that backfield, so I'm not doing that. And I would go Worthy and Pearsall in that one. Appreciate you, Michael. Like I said before, if you are not yet subbed, please do what Michael says there. Hit us with a like and a sub. All we ask, really do appreciate it. Love or Hurts? Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna, man, this is so close. It's so close. I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts though in this one, man. I just think that one sets up to be more of a shootout than Love against Jacksonville. I like the matchup better for Jordan Love, but like I said, I think I could see this one where it ends up being like a Josh Jacobs type of game, where I think since he's going to be able to have a lot more push against Philly than Jacksonville against Green Bay, man. Michael, if you have both of those, I would look to ship one of those guys off. There has to be someone in your league that is, kind of struggling at quarterback. And honestly, I would just not want to have to make this decision every week, to be honest. So I would try and ship one of those guys off. Chip, one full PPR on the flex. Lad Wandell, or Kraft already have Kittle as my tight end. In a full PPR here, I'm going to go Wandell. I'm going to go Wandell in a full PPR. Although I think if you wanted to take the swing, you could go Kraft over Wandell. I think Wandell probably has the better floor. Washington or Texans rest of season. Honestly, I wouldn't look at. There are very few defenses that I would look at in terms of rest of season. That's just unless you have someone, like the Cowboys a couple years ago or the Steelers a couple years ago. There aren't very many that I'm just riding with and like that's it. So I honestly wouldn't do this on a rest of season basis. I mean, if you're forcing me to pick one, and I'll do this for you, Raylan, because you're our guy, I would go Texans, but this would just be like a week to week thing for me personally. So that's just not the way that I would play it. Big Truz, Baker or Tua, going Tua. Otton or Kraft, we're going Otton. Chuba, Wandell, Tank, D Hop, or Chase Brown. Wide receivers, Tyreek and DJ Moore. Running backs are Kamara and Cook. Because you already have Tyreek, I'm going to throw Tank in, assuming we just need one for like the flex spot on that one, Truz. If you need more, just let me know. I think we did not realize that one came over on Twitch, but I did see that. So we got that one. Give me 1 second. Sorry, had to asking my kid to bring something in for me. So we did get that one. Too hype. Brown or Lockett and a half PPR. Man, sorry, probably should have taken my my camera off for that. So you guys didn't have to see me blowing my nose. Um, Brown or Lockett and a half PPR. This to me is again another one of the situations where D Hop McMillan too. I'm gonna go McMillan over those names. I like McMillan in this spot. D Hop, I just don't know how much he's gonna play today. So I'm gonna go McMillan on that one. Y2J, Jacoby still questionable, scares me a bit. Do I wait for him or roll with Pittman at 1 p.m.? I'm not all that interested in Jacoby Myers to begin with, so I would just go Pittman. Ooh, here's an interesting one. Cooper or Waddle in a full PPR? Ooh, boy. I wish. Let me see if there's an update on. Where are the? No, here it is. Let me see if there's an update on this weather for the for that game. And by the way, all of the weather information that I use comes from Kevin Roth. So you can either follow him on Twitter at Kevin Roth WX, or if you just Google like Roto Grinders NFL weather, that's where I get all this stuff. He's an actual what? Nothing from. Interesting. He looks like he hasn't tweeted for a week. Well, he still updates this. Let me see if anything's been updated on. No, it has not. So in general, I have Cooper ranked higher. But if you want someone a little more boom bust, I would go Waddle. So again, I in general in a vacuum, I would go with Amari. If you want to take a little bit more of a swing because of the matchup, I would go Waddle. The Bulldog. Tua over Joey B without Higgins. I think you could because this matchup sets up really well for Tua. And I think they try and just bounce back early in offense. So I think we see Tua throw this one around a little bit. So I would go to over Burrow with Higgins sitting out. Dobbs or Lockett. I'm going to go Dobbs there. The Bills have been really good against outside receivers. I mean, obviously, it would make sense that this would open things up for Lockett. Um, but between like the potential of the weather and all that, also think this could just be like a ground and pound type of game between Cook and Walker on the other side. Our man Tam, good to see you in here. Pick one between Lockett, Hopkins, or Sutton. I know I've been talking about being a little bit iffy on D Hop here, but I'm just gonna just give me Patty Mahomes. Give me Patty Mahomes with D Hop. Obviously, Juju already been ruled out. They have nothing behind that. So even if D Hop only plays like a handful of snaps, I think we could see something similar to what Amari Cooper did last week, right? Where he's only in for a handful, but like he gets targeted heavily on the routes that he is running. So give me D Hop. With Higgins out, we need one between McConkey, Ridley, Wicks, or Pearsall. I'm just going to go Pearsall here with Jawan Jennings being out. Pearsall in his first game last week, he ran a bunch of snaps. Obviously, that helped with Debo being out, but I think with Pearsall and obviously Ayuk as well. But I think we have to remember that Pearsall is also a first round pick, so they're going to get him. They have to get him involved too now at this point. So give me Ricky P. Help me, please. You got it. Bucky or Mostert. My opponent has Achan. That type of stuff, like typically doesn't really matter to me. Um, I don't want to play Bucky with this toe injury. And even though he's been a little bit more involved in the passing game over the past few weeks, that's still where Rashad White actually shines. So I'm going to go Raheem Mostert here. Think he has the higher ceiling, and I think their floors are actually pretty comparable in this type of situation anyway. Peter McConkey, Bateman, or Dowdle in a PPR. I like Bateman in this matchup. Harold, Hubbard, Mooney, Lockett. We need one in a standard. Oh boy. This should be Hubbard, but Denver's defense has been really fucking good. And I think the Broncos actually control this one. So I'm going to go Mooney here. Bruneel, Tua, or Jaden. I'm going to go safe there and just go Tua. Also, Terry or Otten at flex. Full PPR scared of starting Terry in this week. Hate his matchup. Yeah, it's not a great up. Holy shit. Speaking is difficult. My God. Not a great matchup for Terry. I think if you want to play it safe, Auden is not a bad play. I'm curious though, who are you starting at tight end? Do want to ask that if we're putting Auden in flex. Dustin and Tori, good morning, good luck. Same to you. PPR Big Money League. Let's go. Cooper, Mooney, Debo. We need two. I am sitting Mooney. Good luck to you, JJ Witt, Kincaid, or Otten, and Mostert/Chuba full PPR. I'm going to go Mostert there for the running back spot, and then Kincaid or Otten. I think Otten is a safer play. I know Knox being out going to open up looks for Kincaid, but I think Otten is going to be heavily involved without Evans and Godwin. So I would go Otten here. Graham, one in the flex and a PPR. Monty, BTJ, Debo. We are going Debo. I think we didn't have start 2, right? Ashton, was this the same one you did with the no, because I guess this came after your super chat, huh? So we need 2 here in a tight end premium with a little 0.5 added there. Tank JT, Terry Dobbs, JSN Wicks, Kraft. So we're gonna go, man. Gonna go JT. So many Packers. Man, this is rough. JT for sure, just based on volume and the touches that he should see. I really wish Jaden Daniels were just healthy. But that scares me there. I think Teron Johnson has been back for the Bills, so that kind of scares me off JSN. If you need to swing Ashton, I would throw Kraft in just for the tight end premium, and obviously we know that he can put up a 20-point game pretty easily. So if you want to swing, I would go Kraft. If not, I would go Tank. So JT and Tank just in a vacuum. If you need to swing, if you're projected to lose, you don't like your matchup for this week, I would throw in Kraft. Because Dobbs, Wicks, Reed, like that gets spread around so much. So it's hard to go there. So the tight end premium would just would be the tiebreaker there. Graham, looks like we already got that one. I would not go Palmer. I mean, he could be the one that pops off, but it's been McMillan has taken his spot since the beginning of the year, so it would still be McMillan for me. Woods, Girl, Laporta, Komet, or Henry on waivers this week. So we have Tennessee, Washington, the Jets. God, the fact that Laporta is on fucking waivers tells you everything you need to know about how bad tight end has been this week, or this year, rather. Can't believe I'm going to say this. I think I would just go Hunter Henry. I think he's the safest. I think Laporta and Komet have the higher ceilings for sure. God. Oh. Man. I fucking hate. I wish Laporta wasn't on waivers. I think I would play it safe and go Henry. Can't believe I'm saying that over Laporta. Goodness gracious. Pickens or Bateman this week. I'm gonna go Pickens there. I do really like this spot for Bateman. He's someone I've been talking about as a sneaky start for the past 2 weeks, and he's come through both of those weeks. Dylan, what's up? Full PPR, different leagues. Start 2 between Bateman, Adunzi, Shakir, and Olave. Gonna go Olave and who is the slot guy for Seattle? Looks like they've been putting Witherspoon in the slot a bunch, which is interesting. Gonna go Olave, and then Again, a ceiling versus floor thing here. Floor, Shakir, ceiling, Bateman is how I would play that. I lean Bateman in a vacuum, but Shakir is safer, but he doesn't have the ceiling. Then we need one between Komet and Ertz. I'm going to go Komet on that one. And then we need quarterback, 2 running back, a receiver, and a flex. That's going to be Tua, Walker, Jacobs, 1 wide receiver. One wide receiver, I would go Terry, and then we're putting Dobbins in the flex. Half PPR, Waddle, Cooper, or Bigsby. Again, this is a ceiling versus floor type thing. Cooper for the safe play, Waddle if you want to take the swing. In general, I have Cooper over Waddle in my rankings, but you can make the case for Waddle if you need to make the swing. Kamara or Monty in a half PPR. Oh boy. Sorry, I want to take a look at the Vegas lines here. What does the Saints look like? 7-point dogs to the Chargers. Chargers defense has been quietly really good this year. Now they haven't had the most difficult run of opponents, but they are giving up the 3rd fewest points per game to running backs in half PPR. I'd probably just go Kamara because of the usage. But that one's really close. That one's really close. D-Hop, Dell, or JSN. We're going to roll with Tank. Prey Hubbard or Rashad White. I'm going to go Rashad White. Ray G, do you think I should play Lions defense or Jets this week? I would go Lions. Question for a friend: would you play Dobbs or Flowers in full PPR, or Kincaid or Otton? So we already had the Kincaid or Otton question. I think Otton is safer, so I would go Otton there over Kincaid. I just think he's going to see more targets. And then Dobbs or Flowers. I think Flowers is a safer play, but Dobbs probably has the higher ceiling. Because, like I said, the thing you worry about with the Ravens that they just jump out to a lead, and then it's a Derrick Henry 220 yards on the ground type of game. And with, Zay obviously had that injury scare last week. So if they jump out to that lead, could see, if a lower snap share than what we have seen. So if you want to swing, I would go Dobbs, but I do have Flowers higher in my rankings. Okay. I'm just seeing Kittle tight end for you now, Bruno. Just check it's going to rain for Bills. Yeah, like I said, so the Bills game is the one that we have to watch for the for weather, but it does seem like it's going to be on and off. Like it's going to be bands of heavy rain and like higher winds coming in, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be a complete washout. So I think Cooper is probably still the safer play, but if that makes you want to switch to Waddle, Waddle obviously has the higher ceiling. But we have seen a bunch where it just ends up being Tyreek getting 12 targets and then Waddle gets 5, right? So that would be my only worry with Waddle. He does have a lot more variance. So I would still go Cooper, but if that pushes you off of Cooper, I don't hate going to Waddle either. Wicks, Shepard, or Ridley. With a group like this, I would just swing for the fences and I would go Wicks. If you want the safe play though, that would be Shepard. But with like this kind of group, I would just swing for the fences and I would go all for upside, and I would go Wicks. Andrews or Ertz. We go Mark Andrews here. Tolbert, Ladd, or Ridley. I would go Jalen Tolbert. I think we just see like a really run heavy script for the Chargers today. That's kind of why I've been off. We've had a couple of Ladd questions, and I don't think I've said his name once. Torn between. Why does my camera keep doing this? Apologize for the camera looking so shitty right now. I don't know why it gets out of focus so easily. Couple more minutes here. Torn between Pickens and Waddle. I would lean Pickens here. Feels a little chasey, but with the involvement he saw, it's just really hard to pass up on that. I will say that the Giants have been decent against the pass, but I have Pickens a couple spots higher than Waddle. So I would go Pickens just because, like I was saying with Waddle, a lot of times we've seen this just with Tyreek being like the guy and Waddle just getting scraps. So I lean Pickens here. I get why you're torn though. Kelsey or Kraft, we're going Kelsey. Chicago or the Chargers, we're going to go Chargers. Dobbs, Worthy, or Ridley. I lean Worthy on this one. Okay. So what, you have Laporta right now? And you're asking Laporta over one of the waiver options? I see. That was reading comprehension is hard. I see what you meant. Yeah, I think I would go Henry over Laporta. He's safer, right? So he's the safest option to me, just because I think he's going to see more targets. There we go. He's going to see more targets than Laporta, in my opinion, even with Jameson Williams out. But if you need to swing, Laporta's the guy. Like we saw it a couple weeks ago, right? 150-yard catch with a touchdown. Like that's we know Laporta has a ceiling. And theoretically, it obviously should open up looks for Laporta with Williams out. But I think Henry has a safer floor. Chris, Chase Brown or Keenan Allen in the flex. PPR got Caleb Williams starting for what it's worth. Ugh. I think I would go Keenan in a PPR here. Zach Moss has still been kind of like the pass catching back for whatever reason. Like why you're not just using Chase Brown as a 3-down guy and let Moss come in as like a breather, change of pace type of, short yardage type of guy is beyond me, because Chase Brown is obviously way more explosive. So I'm not sure why they're doing that, but I'm going to go Keenan on this one. I just do not love that matchup for Chase Brown going up against the Eagles run D. Kincaid or Hunter Henry, Kyler or Nix. This feels like this is what's going to come down to either everyone loving me or hating me that's joined in on the show. Because here it is again. Hunter for the safety play, Kincaid if you need to swing. This should easily be Kincaid with Knox out, but Hunter Henry's usage has just been really strong with Drake May under center. So that's the way that I would do it. Hunter Henry for, if you just want to lock in the safe points, I think he has a safer floor than Kincaid does. I think Kincaid's range of outcomes are higher, anywhere from 2 points up to 20. And Hunter's range of outcomes are like a little closer than that, but I think he has the higher floor. So if you need the higher floor play, it's Hunter. If you want to, just swing for the fences, Kincaid is the play. And then Kyler or Nix, finally going to get me. We're going to go Bo Nix on that one. Tam, we need 2, Pickens, Bateman, or Smitty. I'm going to sit Bateman there. That's tough, though, because I really like Bateman today. Standard League, Najee or B-Rob, Kyler or Mahomes. We're going to go Najee over B-Rob in a standard. Chicago matchup is more difficult. And then Kyler or Mahomes, we're going to go Mahomes. I get why it's a question, though. Mahomes has not been good. Palmer or Pearsall. I'm just going to swing here, and I'm going to go Ricky P. Like I said, I think we just see just a gross run-heavy script after what we saw from the Chargers last week. Start 2, Keenan, D-Hop, or Amari. That is going to be Amari and D-Hop. Champagne. Should I start Ridley over McConkey? Again, I hate kind of riding the fence here, but this is honestly without knowing what all of you guys are going through with your matchups and whether or not you're favored. If you need the boom bust option, it's Ridley. If you need the safe play, it's McConkey. Ridley should see another 10 targets in this one. Obviously, the Lions' pass defense has not been as strong as their run defense. So Ridley does make sense as a boom bust option, but McConkey has a safer floor, in my opinion. So that's the way I would play that one. Tua or Anthony Richardson, we are going Tua. Pop Douglas or Yoshi, we are going Douglas. We need 2 here for TX. Wick, Shepard, Ridley, Ladd, Yoshi. I'm going to go Wicks and Shepard. Wicks and Shepard. Eric Anders, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is 12:30, so I guess it is afternoon. 12-team half PPR. We need 2 between Waddle, Moore, Chubb, McMillan. That's going to be the first 2 for me. And then Goff, Cousins, or Tua. I'm just going to swing there, and I'm going to go Tua. Appreciate all of you for rocking with us. That brings us to the end of the questions. Good luck this week. We will be going live again at halftime for the first look at Week 9 waivers. Hope you all win your matchups. Hit us with a like and a sub if you have yet to do so. Like I said, good luck this week, and I will talk to you all soon.